As we're doing this right now. I'm Guinean born. My family is the original family of the planet. It's one of the original families of the planet. We are the Kamara, or the Susu tribe, which comes from the original Mer. This is in my DNA. I think that's about it. All right. Just ask me. That's about it. So, that's my post. So, I'm responding to Brother Truth right now. He said, bro, get the FOH out of here with perpetuating your patriarchal thoughts. LOL, now I am a Judas when I'm educating our women on the powers they use to assert. Huh? He put exclamation question mark. He a little mad. How come when I'm uplifting my sisters, you got to slide in talking about what the man did? Where are you? Were you there back in historical times? Yes, I was there back in historical times. I actually come from my land. Does everyone know where you got your knowledge from? The knowledge comes from my genetics. But yet you claim to know where all of these women get theirs hundreds of years ago. Yes, because it's law in nature. Come on, bro. And now you're pulling out Bible verses using that as a tool to further oppress our women. Is he talking about me or are you talking about yourself? You know what I'm saying? So my response, here goes more of the lostness. We call your kind Negropean. I gotta start off like that because it's like, but who the fuck are you talking to? I'm talking to your mentality right now. I said, we see you intending to help, but you are hurting. I said, we see you intending to help, but you are hurting minds, spreading false paradigms. Melanated man have to stop speaking from the Europeans' perspective as a whole. The only way to do that is to speak about the roots. And you find roots in nature. So if you're not speaking about nature, you're speaking about the European man, the European's mind, the European man's mind. Because going back to colonialism, Africans and people didn't just give up on this shit. They were attacked. It was life or death. Go left or die going right. So that's what it was. So people didn't just forget their information. Those who knew were killed off. And those who didn't want to be killed off went into the mountains, a.k.a. the seers at Mount Kenya, the elders at Mount Kenya. You know what I'm saying? So, and they don't have a patriarchal or matriarchal system. They have a council. They have 12 noble people, 6 women, 6 men. It's a council. You know what I'm saying? And there's one, a general council, a general consulate. And typically that's the man, that's the father, because the man is just a term that represents the mind. And the woman is a term that represents the emotion. So it's like, yo, motherfuckers gotta get out of the lostness of man system and woman system when it has to do with masculine and feminine. And our ancestors knew, the predecessors knew how to balance the energies in order to create what's best for everyone. That's it. And the women would be the leaders because they are able to have compassion for all of their people, no matter what they're going through, just like we saw in the movie Eternals. But the man is the boss. Because the woman feels so much about people, she don't know whether she should save everybody's life or let one life die so billions more could be born. And this is where the woman always looks into her man for direction. No woman was born here on this planet without a man's direction and just rose to supreme power. No man or woman was born and without. You have to. This is the story of Heru. This is the story of Christ. This is the story of Krishna. This is the story. It's just order. Okay, going back to this. I just had to get that out. You know what I'm saying? So I said my information comes from my Father who art in heaven. This is not a Bible verse, but an algorithm in nature. Your Father is your higher self, and heaven is a state of mind. I thought we were already here. Look, I'm talking to you Americans. I say you Americans have gotten so disconnected from your nature that you forget the truth and how reality even functions. Nature, reality, functions. Those are the key words. Nature is reality that has a function. We're functioning in an abstract version of nature. We drive and walk on concrete roads. We have rubber tires. We have rubber shoes. Rubber is an insulator. We are electrical beings. Energy is electricity. Like, I hope I'm making sense. You know what I'm saying? We are now living outside of our nature because we are, as electrical, energetical beings, we are disconnecting ourselves from our very own source. This goes beyond the foods that people are eating. So I say this has nothing to do with no patriot or matriarchal system, which are Greek terms. Greek terms. I'm Guinean born. My family is one of the original families of this planet. We are the Kamara of the Susu tribe, which comes from the original Mer of Tombo Island. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. This information is coming from your higher self. I don't want to look at it. You're supposed to be letting me know. Or shoot, if I ask for it, you know what I'm saying? Just let me know.
Okay, so Diamond Mind 47 showing some love.
This is good, like, unless they got a question or something, you know what I'm saying? Like,
nope, I was just agreeing with what you were saying.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I said. You know, I come from Tombo Island. Tombo Island. This is in my DNA. My family we never lost our last name. Never lost our last name. So when it comes to his story, I remember my story, our story. It was never distorted. Never. It was manipulated slightly in the 50s, but they literally had to come and kill my great-grandfather in order to take over, which they still didn't take over my land. They just separated the family, so now nobody's there to take care of the land. So, do you mind it? I'm gonna just end it like that. This is in my DNA. I'm open for debate.
Brave PM, the source said Islam noble.
Peace to the gods. So yeah, so this post, this is on Brother Truth's page. Y'all go check out this post on Brother Truth's page.
What's the post?
Y'all gonna see it. My comment is pinned. He thought my comment was good enough to pin. We all know Brother Truth. First of all, you know, shout out to the brother. You know, as I said in my comment, I see we are all intending to do good things, but we have to stop perpetuating false narratives of nature. This is nature moving through me, expressing the truth. As I was saying, how can I make the claim to be I'm the original family of the planet? It's in my name. Where's my pen? I done broke this down.
It's a mic drop.
Ugh. So I don't know. Before I go into that, let me get back into these comments because I can feel the energy moving. Somebody responded and said, "This guy, LOL. When kings uplift queens, the others come out." Who's the others? Okay, somebody seen in the middle. This must be a Libra. He said, "I think the answer is somewhere in the middle, between both extremes. This depth a conversation that needs to be furthered rather than trying to shame each other for their viewpoints."
That's the problem. It's not an extreme. You're both saying the same things from different levels of consciousness.
Right. So this is like 3-dimensional. I'm in the 5th, 6th, and 7th dimensional celestial inner and understanding of what it actually is.
Right.
Not what it was, but what it is. Because even the past is presently happening now.
Right.
So I'm not talking about what happened before. We're talking about what's happening now. There's daughters that's being raised politically. First of all,
with something as simple as that person perceiving that phrase as a Bible verse, and you knowing that it's much bigger than that.
Yeah, because where does the Bible come from? They say basic instructions before leaving Earth. So the Bible.
That's the problem. Seeing the Bible as the source of everything.
Well, yeah, that's not. That's the challenge.
And
you know
challenging
like,
that.
Because it's like this is like that's where most of the American people have been programmed and indoctrinated, and this is why on May the 20th at the Confluence Conference I'm going to be going in on the originality of biblical understanding by going deep into astrology, because the Bible, the holy book, the Holy Bible, translates to Helios, Biblios. Helios is literally the god of the sun or sun god. And Biblios is book. So when we say the Holy Bible, we're talking about this book of the sun. So how could you be bringing... Wait, we have to get to the level of understanding. I should say it like this. This is better. Yes. We get to the level of understanding that everything biblically spoken about is an expression of what the sun is doing. Not a son as in man, the sun as in you need that motherfucker to see what you're doing, or else shit is gonna grow in life. The sun.
The literal sun.
The literal sun.
The literal life force.
Like, this shit is like, we made it so complicated. I mean, look, I never fully believed this shit growing up. It didn't make sense. First of all, it was a white man teaching me. So I was like, how the fuck do you know?
Diamond Mind 47 said necessary. Slick Haiti said my brother. Latin Mind 470 said enlightenment. Yeah,
I appreciate the love. But yeah, like I was saying, she's throwing me off. You know what I'm saying, let me know if they're saying something of
the sun. You said the white man was teaching you, so you didn't believe it when you were younger.
This shit threw me off because I'm like, first of all, his name was Paul.
Uh-huh.
And Paul was one of the names in the Bible. So I was like, Paul and Paul are not the same. You know what I'm saying? The only thing they have in common is white. But Paul, I could see from the age of 10, had shit that he was still overcoming. And that's why the fuck he was even leading Bible study in the first place.
Uh-huh.
So it never made sense. The scriptures that you read at church has to do with how they want the community to stay together. Because each church is underneath a county ordinance. And each county is underneath a state ordinance. Each state is underneath a national ordinance. So that's what's happening. That's what's happening. Anyways, he said, yeah, there's always going to be one or two who thinks differently and has to drag folks for presenting different. Dang, he feels like I dragged him. Look, brother, truth, I'm not dragging you. I'm dragging your information.
That's what I was saying.
If you attach yourself to the information, then you will feel like you have been dragged.
Right.
It's the information that I'm slaughtering.
Right. Because
this is the information that is still breaking the black, when I say black, I mean melanated family apart. There's two minds that exist. Like, damn, I feel like I gotta pour this shit up on the computer. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Like, am I making sense? I feel like I'm not. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir. Pun intended.
It makes sense, but it's important to break it down even when it makes sense. This message needs to be repeated as many times as possible, because the other message has been repeating for what feels like eternity.
I'm about to watch Spirit Science. I'm about to put this video. I just put in the 7 Hermetic principles. Just because there's two minds that people got to understand. The first law is all is mind, meaning everything is mental. Everything you do starts and ends in your mind. Nothing happens outside of the mind. Everything's happening in the mind. Mm-hmm. I just said that mind represents man, masculine. It represents thoughts.
Right.
So now we're all living in the mind, but whose mind are we living in?
The sun's?
Yeah, that's true. That's actually the answer. We're all living in the sun's mind. But who's the sun? Because they made the sun the white man, Jesus Christ.
Right.
So we're living in that man's mind.
Right.
We're all living in Jesus' mind.
Right.
Who the fuck is Jesus? Jesus is just us. Jesus, J wouldn't even invent. J's only two. J, the letter J, is just as old as the concept of monogamy.
That's a whole another live.
But like, go. I'm not even saying believe me. You gotta feel the shit that I'm saying and look it up for yourself. Look up when monogamy started. You see it started just over 180 years ago. Look up when the letter J came out. You see it's just over 200 years old. These things this is called a timeline of events. This is called current events. which is what the news brings you, is current events, and they distract you from the actual truth of what's going on.
So it's not even old, it's brand new in the grand scheme of things, like global warming.
Facts. These words of wisdom, although written by my decaying hand, shall remain imperishable through time. May they be imbued with the medicine of immortality.
Perishable through time. May they be imbued with the medicine of immortality.
So I just typed in several Hermetic principles so we can get an understanding of the all being mental, all being mind. Hermes Trismegistus. If you don't know who that is, look him up. This is Thoth. This is a Greek deity that they personify, the father of the Pythagorean theory, the father of mathematics, writing, and speech. This is one of the gods that the Greek civilization actually worshipped, the god of mathematics. Hermes Trismegistus, before there was a Greek empire, there was an Egyptian or Kemet empire, and Hermes is connected to Mercury, Mercury being the messenger. In the Kemet time was Thoth, the great messenger. So the 7 universal laws comes from the messenger or Mercury. Anyways.
A few miles west of the Nile, and just below the tip of its delta, lies Saqqara.
Y'all hear this? A few miles west of the Nile lies the Saqqara.
Necropolis of ancient Memphis, center of Lower Egypt from the days of the pharaohs through to the time of Egypt's Roman conquerors. The ibis, the graceful black and white bird in which the god Thoth showed himself, no longer visits the Nile at Memphis. But when the Ptolemies and their Roman successors drank from the holy river, the god's bird still came to its banks in great plenty. Wisdom is eternal, even if people are not. The Kabbalion, while only published in 1908, is a manuscript that claims to be the essence of the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus, who, as we've discussed before, is believed to be our old pal Thoth. We should be clear that there are several different texts here worth exploring. There's the older Corpus Hermeticum, which is a huge ancient
That's also a great book.
work in itself, along with the Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean and the Emerald Tablet of Hermes. But these writings do not actually make any specific references to the laws and principles that were explored.
That's the book. Y'all need to read this book, the Hermetica. This is before the Bible. It's before this information comes from before even the Quran. This has to do with Kabbalistic information. This has to do with the laws of nature.
Exploring today. And so...
And the Kabbalion. Hermetic philosophy. This is why I love the plate that, if you serving me the food on the plate, it has this symbol on the plate. It's like, I eat my dinner on this plate.
That's right.
Every day.
Of the Kabbalion, which is supposedly based upon ancient Hermeticism, and is argued to be an elaboration of an ancient, unpublished Hermetic text of the same name.
That's where we come from. This is a Greek translation of alchemy. We're going to go deeper into this video later.
One which humanity has not yet actually found. While it's healthy to approach it with some skepticism, the profound wisdom of this text needs to be taught and explained. The Hermetica speaks very highly of cosmic laws, critical to be understood in order for our own liberation and transcendence. And that's why we've created the 2021 Almanac of the New Age. If you're interested in connecting with the celestial and personal cycles in order to start the new year off with an exceptionally high vibration, check out this book, who was a famous American occultist and pioneer of the New Thought movement. It was written by unknown authors, known simply as the Three Initiates.
Yes, that's important. The Kabbalion, its authors are unknown. The authors go by the Three Initiates, meaning of its 3 individuals who channeled the information from an esoteric plane to write the information down. They're called remote viewers.
But the most common theory is that it was authored by a man named William Walker Atkinson and some others, who was a famous American occultist and pioneer of the New Thought movement.
Famous American occultist.
In the first couple of pages, it says that it will only appear to you when the time is appropriate and you're ready for its wisdom.
In the first couple of pages, the information tells you that it only appears to you when you are ready.
Right.
And the time is appropriate.
Because when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Because knowledge is power. And if you haven't done the work within yourself to hold the power, it will consume you.
Right.
And you will go on a power trip. And you'll eventually get yourself taken out.
So I guess that means we're ready for it in mass, huh? Because there's a few videos and articles talking about it now. For the most part, it discusses the structure of the spiritual world and outlines the three great planes of existence.
I guess we're ready. It was perfect, the timing of what you said and then what the video said.
Now, for the most part, it discusses the structure of the spiritual world and outlines the three great planes of existence: the physical plane, the mental plane, and the spiritual plane, all of which are broken down into several lesser planes, which are kind of like astral black keys, like the ones on a piano, each having their own vibration and frequency, and are inhabited by different kinds of spirits and entities. Another aspect of the wisdom is found in its teachings of alchemy. It discusses aspects of spiritual and mental transmutation and how you can alter your vibration or frequency to move into these higher realms, interact with spiritual entities, and attain the wisdom of Hermes himself. The subject that has made the Kybalion a legendary book is its discussion of the 7 Hermetic principles, which are like the laws that govern the universe according to the Western mystery tradition, the foundation of many schools of esoteric thought today. Much like how physicists observe the universe, to the Hermetic mystics, they believed that the universe runs on natural laws. Apples fall, birds fly, things live and die. But when we take time to understand these laws, we can use them, and in some cases even leverage them, to transform life as we know it. Perhaps one day we can push against gravity to fly, or simply use the knowledge that one day we might die to live better lives. As it's described, whenever this wisdom resurfaces in culture, it acts as a catalyst for a creative renaissance, revolutions, and cultural regeneration. These 7 laws were some of the most influential systems of thought to the Renaissance and medieval philosophy.
This is if you don't know about the 7 Hermetic principles or the 7 universal laws. This is the background story.
First, which even today can expand horizons, broaden possibilities, and aid one in the pursuit of a fuller, happier, more meaningful, and longer life. And so, as we go through these principles, remember that they were potentially first thought of thousands of years ago, despite only being codified recently in history before any modern science verified their unusually accurate and esoteric claims. The Kybalion even devotes a chapter to each principle and goes into what it's really all about, and we especially recommend going deeper by reading this book if you haven't already. It's a favorite of ours.
Principle 1.
All right, here we go.
Mentalism.
Mentalism.
Much like in the Corpus Hermeticum, this axiom embodies the idea that all is mind, something today we know as idealism. Basically, everything that happens is a result of a mental state which precedes it. For
My
anything to
family's
exist,
here, Alpha
thoughts have to
Camaro.
form first, which then form physical reality or manifestation. But it goes even deeper than manifestation though, for the principle of mind is rooted in the idea of the God mind, that the universe itself is the mind of God, or, going even bigger, that the universe...
Hold on. Did we all hear that? I don't think I heard that. Let me go back.
No, for the principle of mind is rooted in the idea of...
The principle of mind is rooted. Where do you find roots? Nature. Okay. The principle. What's a principle? Something that doesn't change. It stands of God. What is God? Nature is... Oh, hold on. Let me just go back one more time. I'm going too fast.
The principle of mind is rooted in the idea... It goes even deeper than manifestation though. For
Deeper.
The principle of mind is rooted in the idea of the God mind, that the universe itself is the mind of God, or, going even bigger, that the universe is a thought in the mind of God. That all phenomena of life, matter, and energy...
The universe itself is the mind of God, or even better, the universe is just a thought in the mind of God.
Which makes sense why the white man would position himself as God.
Exactly.
of the material universe.
Which is, yes, exactly, in order to control the everything.
Yes.
And this is why they also preach own nothing and control everything, because they know they don't own the shit.
Right.
But they are controlling it by taking ownership.
Right.
It's a little conundrum.
Universe are thoughts of an infinite and universal living mind, which means all things share a connection to the fact they exist within the mind of God or the all. Perhaps this could take the form of a field, as is thought of consciousness. In other words, when you view everything you think, and therefore do, as an interaction of a thought with another thought, you develop an understanding of the first principle of mentalism, which allows you to grasp the laws of the mental universe. This law ultimately says that it is our consciousness that allows us to interact with reality.
Boom, that's it. It is your consciousness that allows you to interact with reality. All is mental, which is why we're in a psychological war. And you must reclaim your mind by understanding the truth that is displayed in nature. That's it, people. Nature is where the truth is found. You must dive into nature to get back to the truth. So, I rest my case. If y'all want to get, deeper into this, my comment is, hey, hold on, what?
What's up?
I'm like, did my comment just get deleted? Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, what happened to my comment?
It's possible. They can delete it. It can get reported and deleted.
Let me see. That's all I wanted to talk about.
The bronze kid said up.
Up and away. Oh, shit. Pin my comment. Yeah, everybody seeing me now.
It was that triggering? Oh, I'm glad we recorded this.
Somebody said, right, I get you have an opinion, it's social media, but damn, fall back. You can hear, in quotation marks, the aggression in the comments. It'd be that deep for them. Nah, for me, it's like, yo, you just gotta look at my video. Like, this is just my natural. I'm African. This is not aggressive. This is how we speak.
I'm a lion, I roar.
We speak with our diaphragm. We speak and we mean the shit we say. Even if an African person don't know what they're talking about, they speak from the core because they come close to the equator. Although I'm speaking as a defender of the truth. If you look at my page, you'll literally see warrior of light. So whenever somebody's casting out shade or darkness, overshadowing the light, yeah, it's a war. And it has nothing to do with the person that's spreading the information and everything to do with the information. The person is just a catalyst. Yo, did they really delete my comment though? I gotta go back because I'm like, yo. Yeah, so y'all saw this live though. I read my response and it was deleted. Y'all saw it here. I saw it here first. Oh, and then I commented on the other post too. That's what it is. Because the other post said, look. He said, my question is, when women used to run nations, lead armies, and house multiple men in their harems, do you think they gave a shit about a father when they had plenty of men around to provide masculine energy? That right there is very dishonorable to fathers. The Father who art in heaven, which is, like I stated before, your higher self. So I said, well, let's get this straightened. This queen, so we're talking about Queen Zinga,
right? Who
assumed power, she didn't have 60 husbands. She was married once to a prince in her teenage day. I've been studied this because this is a part of the seeds that the European scientists have planted in order to continue disempowering the black man.
So she had an army of 60 men.
She had the entire army.
Right.
She was the only heir left of her bloodline.
Right.
So she assumed the role because she was trained from birth to teen on politics, military, and war.
So this is a game of telephone. Why would all of that be watered down to this queen has 60 husbands?
Because
and that's why.
Because it's the European man planting a seed in the consciousness of the black community, so that the black man doesn't realize his true power, and so that the black woman continues to feel like she's more powerful than the black man, so that she doesn't have to respect the black man, so that she don't think she need the black man. But then she goes and gets a job or starts a business that she has to sign up for underneath the white man, Uncle Sam.
Right, and right now the state of the world is very sensitive in defense of women because of all these laws that are being overturned about abortion. Roe versus Wade right now is about to be overturned. So people are defending and standing up for women because that's the cool thing to do right now.
It's not even. It's what the white man is programming. It's not even that people are not doing what they think is cool to do. People are doing what another man wants you to do.
People love when you water yourself down to make them feel better about themselves, said the Bronx Kid.
Yeah, I guess so. Like I was saying, yeah, that's the truth. But people are not doing nobody's doing. You are not doing what you think you want to do.
Right.
You're doing what another man has told you must do or not do.
Right.
And in this United States of America, it's the white man that we know as Uncle Sam. Of course, it breaks down into different families and it gets deeper than that. But overall, it's white supremacy.
Uh-huh.
So I said, let's get this straight. And she assumed power over Nundogo after the death of her father and her brother, who both served as kings. Born into the ruling family of Nungozo, she received military and political training as a child and demonstrated tactics for defending war. With her father and her brother, there was this a family thing. You see how they're destroying the family by highlighting her and not highlighting her brother or her father?
Right.
She wouldn't have had a kingdom to run without her father.
Right.
You know, not say that because I said, so she was put on by her father. And those men were her soldiers and not her husband. She actually was only married once and to a prince. And then the response is, but what does that have to do with the fact that she still ran the kingdom? The fact that she wouldn't have no kingdom to run if it wasn't for her father.
Right.
She only ran a kingdom because of who her father was.
But this is what the media does. It chops up things to make it look one way to support the propaganda.
He said, regardless of who she inherited it from, did she rule the... Regardless? What you cannot say, like... That's the stupidest shit. It's like, yo... It's like saying, like, I'm trying to make a comparison, but it's so far-fetched that it's hard for me to even think of something to even compare this to. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyways, he said, you're so bent on... This is what Brother Truth is saying. He said, you're so bent on trying to prove a man's worth that you are overlooking the entire message of the post, which was to uplift our woman and stop having them depend on a man. The women are depending on a man regardless. Oh my God. It's called interdependency. It's called how masculine and feminine work. If the woman is not depending on a black man, there's some man. Because whether you register a business, create a trust, no matter what you doing, that shit is set up by a man. The cars that we drive, the buildings, the houses, all that shit was built by a man.
Well, it sounds like he missed the part in your comment where you were talking about interdependence, about the value of a man comes from a woman, the value of a woman comes from a man. There's equality in that, in what you expressed.
Yeah, I said you are missing the point. She has no kingdom to run without her father. Period. Pyramid, that's it.
Which is true, but how can you rectify this misconception that he has that what you're worried about is defending the value of a man?
Well, I haven't even mentioned man. I've only mentioned father.
Debunk that, because that's what he's holding on to.
Well, I just said you are missing the point. That's what she has no kingdom to run without her father. and his father and his fathers. I'm not here to prove. I'm not gonna even respond like, but I'm not trying to prove. When you're debating, you don't have to respond to what the people are saying. Just tell them what it is that your attempt is to tell them. And if it's the truth, I'm not gonna allow myself to get caught up in confusion. I can see that he's confused because he says the fact is that she still ran the kingdom regardless of who she inherited from, that she was a kingdom. The fact is that she wouldn't have had a kingdom to rule if she wasn't trained by her father and her brother.
You're right. She was able to rule the kingdom because of the training that she received as a child. And that's not even the problem. The problem is that that our community is getting content like this, which is misinformation. That's the real problem.
Yo, I think they deleted my other post, though. No, it was on this page. Okay, yeah, no, I'm back. Here it goes. Yo, my comment was deleted, though. Y'all hear this live, right? They deleted my comment.
That's how triggering it was.
How you pin my comment, respond, and then when I respond, delete my message?
Because they didn't win. So now they don't want people to see.
He said, no, they weren't the gods that black women taught their sons. So quickly we forgot our first teachers. Where did you learn the information from, black woman? Who gave you a son? Who gave you a son? Did you teach the son, or did you raise the son? To raise and to teach is different. And if you have a son by a man, and if you're still with the man, as a woman, you become the man's mind. So everything you're teaching the son is your man's mind. The fuck? The only reason why we have baby mama and baby daddy problems in America is because woman and man can't get on the same mental plane. It's because the women are trying to be dominant in the masculine field, which is chemically
Is it
chemically
because of the
not
woman,
possible.
or is it because of the agenda?
What did you say?
Is it the fault of the woman, or is it the fault of the agenda that the woman is subject to? How can we stop attack? How can we make these points without attacking women?
I'm not attacking women. I'm attacking the mind. Just let it be clear. I'm not attacking man or woman. This shit got nothing to do with man or woman about me. That's why I'm using the term father and mother, because those are principles that has nothing to do with man and woman.
So what's the what do you mean by father and mother? Because that brings us back to man and woman.
The father is the representation of divine masculine energy.
Uh-huh.
The mother is representation of divine feminine energy.
Uh-huh. And what is
now,
that?
What are those? Yeah, I know. What are those? What are those? Like, yo, okay, and they give it to you your whole life. They just make what do they call, like idioms out of the words. I don't think that's the right word, but mother is nature, which is why we say mother nature, because right, the mother is a principle that nurtures.
Right.
That I'm not going to complicate it further than that right now. Father is time. Father time. Father time. Father time. So father is a principle that provides. When you have time, you have the opportunity to create. Without time, there's literally no space. And this is where you have chaos. You understand that? If you take out time of society, if you were to take out time of society, you would have chaos because there would be no order.
Angela says greetings. Well, it's a little different from what you were saying before off camera.
Oh, so now you want to bring up what I was saying before off camera. What was I saying then before off camera? What's so different?
Well, it was great because it wasn't alluding back to gender at all. It was saying all beings have divine father and divine mother.
Yeah. Before I get to that point, you know what I'm saying, we got to explain the two energies and why they're in two bodies. Yes, everyone has divine masculine and feminine principalities in them. And this is how we were born, but we're programmed to be one more than the other.
Yes.
And it's a reversal. And you don't really see this in a lot of white people. You don't see I'm about to take it there, right? You don't see a lot of white people in like the gay community. Like you don't see a lot of white people, and shout out to the LGBTQ community. They preserve the spirit of the divine feminine. That's the conversation for another time. I'm not against the community. I'm just showing you that it's only a particular color that's in certain communities, and that's by design. Right? So that's because white people understand divine masculine and feminine. They're not taught about it from that spiritual component, but they are taught about law and order. So this is why they have order, and this is why they can be amount success, because they have balance within themselves. They don't. Most of their race is not.
Most of their race?
Yeah, the European race.
Okay.
They're not going against their parents. You know, their forefathers.
Why not?
Well, that's because they were manipulated to. You know what I'm saying? Their forefathers won the war and wrote the story. So why would you go against your father? Like, he won the war. He took the land and built a nation for you and all of your cousins.
Yeah, because
so,
they haven't been instilled with fear against their own.
Yeah. They was programmed over decades, centuries of time to be supreme and intelligent. So that's why white people just walk like that and carry themselves like they're supreme and intelligent, because they were programmed to do that for decades.
That's why they talk to the cops like that.
Yeah, but then when they come in front of a real nigga, you know what I'm saying, or they come in front of a real black person who knows themselves and love themselves, white people start shaking in front of you.
A real naga?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? A real naga, you know what I'm saying? But I'm still over here like, look, I'm about to end this live. You know what I'm saying? Because I really just wanted to see what they was trying to say. But, man, this comment, you mad is about balance, but your other comment makes it seem like you only want women to depend on men. Nah, so, because somebody said, so what exactly is the purpose of man? Just to see? I said, so that's because you got to listen to, I'm speaking from 360 degrees of truth, a whole circle. So if you only catch 90 degrees, then you just caught an L.
What does that mean?
Let me say that. Yeah, I'm gonna say it again. You don't even have to. I know. I'm in. Okay, I'm going too fast for y'all. Y'all gotta just keep tuning in until you get in tune with the infinite, because it's like, what the fuck is going on? Let me break it down. That's why I need to talk to Elo. He gonna help me with this, y'all. I got a management team on the way to streamline this information.
We should invite him to the live. Tell him to get on.
Send him the invite.
All right.
Like he's supposed to call me hours ago. Anyway, somebody said, so what exactly is the purpose of man? Just his seed? That was a great comment. This person actually followed me too, by the way. I responded to them saying, do your research. These women were all taught by men. Even man is taught by man. Let's not get that. It's not just woman. Man and woman are taught by man.
Who wants to hop on the live? Women is foundation and man is the structure. Mental Picasso. I just sent it to D-Lo.
I don't know. I ain't gonna go foundation. I mean, like foundation. Man is the structure. I guess I can see that. But but that would mean like that the men stand on the woman, because the foundation is what the building rests on. Which
is the earth. We go back to the same thing we were saying before.
And the man is the structure. I mean,
which is the mind, the consciousness.
Because to me, foundation and structure are almost the same thing. Because in order to build a foundation, you need a structure. So that's why I would say that one is a little. I wouldn't say that's exactly it. Because in order to build a foundation in a house, you need a structure.
Huh?
Okay.
The structure is the house. The foundation is literally what goes underneath the earth to keep it.
Yeah,
up.
In a house, right? When they build the foundation for a house, they dig in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a structure to how you have to dig in the ground.
Yes.
There's a structure in how you have to put the foundation in the ground.
That's true.
So that's what I'm saying. So that's still proving a point, not my point, because it's not the point that I'm making.
It's getting into semantics.
But that's basically saying that the man is the woman and the woman is the man. But that's getting into biology.
Right.
And that's not what we're talking about here. So that's why I'm able to have this conversation, because I understand what we're talking about from a biological perspective, a psychological perspective, a spiritual perspective.
Mental Picasso sent a request to be on your live. Do you want to view the request?
Hold on, give me a second. Let me respond back to this, because I'm not looking to have a conversation on this. It is what it is.
You're having a debate.
Give me 1 second. I just want to get through reading this comment, that I was posted. Let me say, so what exactly is the purpose of man? I said, do your research. Women were all taught by men as well as men. Man represents knowledge and woman represent wisdom. Men define woman and woman define men. Man's purpose is to define woman and woman's purpose is to define man. That's what I said in response to that.
Right. So that's what I was saying. That's what they missed if they're saying what they said earlier.
And then the person who was reading the other comment said, this comment you made is about balance, but your other comment makes it seem like you only want women to depend on men.
Right.
Nah, I just missed the points that I was making.
So that's basically saying, I'm confused because from my perspective, you contradicted yourself and I support half of one side of it.
Say that again?
That's basically saying, I'm confused because you made comments that sort of contradict each other, but I'm even more confused because I support part of it. I support one side of it.
Say that one more time. Something about the comments and supporting the other side?
That person who said that comment that you just read is expressing their confusion because they support one side of what you said, but you put two sides of the same thing. It contradicts itself a little bit, but they support half of what you said.
Yeah.
Mental Picasso said, "Man who builds his house on the sand is a fool."
Then why do children build sandcastles? Then why do we build beach houses? I don't understand. What's your point? What do you mean?
I think the wordsmith in you,
Well, I'm at the roots, because I'm red resonant moon, meaning I seal the flow of universal waters. Water is information, so I'm sealing what he's saying. To gain the image of what it is that he's portraying. You can build your house anywhere. People have houses in the ocean. People have houses, beings have houses in the ocean. People have houses in space. It's just what do you mean? I need to get understanding. So I was asking you to repeat what you said, because somebody actually made a very great comment that I'm looking into. He said those same women enslaved men and women as well. That's why they were defeated. That's why they defeated human trafficking. Human trafficking was started by the matriarchs.
And even if women enslaved men, that does not speak on all women.
Yeah, no. So let me finish the comment. He said human trafficking was started by the matriarchs, which goes back to the dragon queen in Inner Earth. Now we get metaphysical. Dragon queen, Inner Earth. He said earlier slave rebellions were the men trying to free themselves from the queen. Kings generally learned from their mothers. The pyramids were built by male slave of the queen. This dragon travels underground and mind controls humanity. I'm sure you've heard of Tiamat, which is in what? The movie The Eternals. If you ain't seen The Eternals, they are literally trying to save Tiamat. So esoterically, we must conquer the dragon within all of us to be sovereign of this illusionary polarity game called Kali Yuga. Remember, the pendulum must be balanced in order to provide harmony. When it is stuck on either side of the scale, it is abusing power. Patriarchal and matriarchal are opposing forces of the archons. That's the real tricknology. May everyone who read this manage their dark and light spectrums into balance. Remember, divide and conquer is best applied in gender roles to defunctionize the hemisync of the human brain. This message is from your ancestors for us to help generate balance in the universe.
Yes.
That's it. But who is the queen? Who's the king? Who's the king of the queen? Of the dragon queen? Who's the dragon king?
I don't know.
So that's the only thing he missed out on.
You tell me.
The dragon queen, she's only doing the work of her husband.
Who's that?
I can't just reveal his name. That's secret. I don't think he want me just throwing out his name like that.
Okay,
no,
then what does he do?
We're talking about the Anunnaki. We're talking about this is Enlil that we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And Enlil, right? This shit goes deep as fuck. I didn't mean to bring it this deep.
But it's necessary to go this deep because it's uprooting all of this misinformation.
This planet was a water molecule. The Earth didn't have grass and green, and it wasn't even called Earth. You know, when it was first formed, it was water.
Right.
Which is why when you're first born, you're what's in water, your mother's womb, and we come out into Mother Nature in the womb of the mother, which was still in water. So the Dragon Queen was birthed when men or beings from, you could say, father-like planets, a father species. I should say that a father species, meaning a very mental species, traveled to this planet.
Yes.
And then started integrating with the feminine species of the planet. As land or bacteria grew in the ocean, it started to grow as land.
Okay.
So these feminine species that were once submerged in water now started traveling out and expanding into the land.
Okay.
They summoned the spirit of the father to see what was the farthest out there. That's what woman wants. That's what the nature of a woman. She want to go explore and see and travel. And once you see that your garden has roses, you want to see how far the roses go. You know what I'm saying? So the spirit of the masculine line was summoned through the species known as the Anunnaki. Although the Anunnaki, they felt the signal. This is where the disruption happened. It's like, the fuck? Y'all got gold on this planet. We use gold for our atmosphere. So like, yo, fuck what y'all need. We want this gold. So it's like, okay, so Enlil, which is Enki's brother, which are sons of the ancient, as I said, Anunnaki, which Anunnaki just means beings from above or from the heavens, and started to impregnate these feminine beings who we hear, and then created what's known as the Dragon Queen. So they collectively created a species to mine the gold for their planet. So that's where the slave species was born, but they weren't even slaves. They weren't slaves.
What were they?
They were high-class workers.
High-class workers.
Yeah, because the people who were mining the gold were intelligent as fuck. They were intelligent. You know what I'm saying? They just didn't have self-awareness. It's like you didn't need to tell them what to do. They just knew what to do because they were programmed to do something. They just were programmed not to be aware of self.
They were gold mining experts. We have a negative connotation for the word worker.
Yeah. And what say? A workman is worthy of his hire. Yeah, the 10 maxims of law. A workman is worthy of his hire, which means that all are equal under the law, which the law is the supreme. So, anyways, lastly, this is where the Dragon Queen was birthed. We talked about Kali a few times. Kali being the goddess of destruction. This is simply for another species to basically get what they need from a plane or a planet. Esoterically, we must conquer the dragon within all of us, which is your Kundalini, which is your energy. Where's the other book at? This is the dragon in you that you must conquer, which is your chakras. This is what your Kundalini looks like.
The Merkaba was what you said?
Yeah, the Merkaba is the shape, or I should say it's the direction in which the energy is traveling. Maybe I can find a picture. Find the picture.
Hey.
So, this is actually the world too. People say that the world is round, but this is debunking the I'm not even here to talk about flat Earth, so I'm not gonna go into that. The Merkaba, this is essentially it. You have energy traveling down your spiral. This is why your DNA looks like this. It's a ladder. This is why they talk about walking up Jacob's ladder, because when you're able to unlock your genetic coding in an upward spiral and not a downward spiral, you're actually connecting yourself to your higher self, which is your prefrontal cortex, which is where you have the seed of imagination, intuition, intellect. The will, divine will, is located in the front of your mind. And look at what we have, the infinite symbol. Because this is coming from Infinite Steve, or the Infinite One. I'm the Infinite One because I'm born Mohammed Stephen Kamara. This is not the video for the explanation of that, but I'll go into that later. This is what the picture I'm looking for. This is your chakras. This is the dragon that they speak about, meaning if you're not ascending with your thoughts, then you're descending into your root. So you're living in fear, false evidence appearing real. So when you live in false evidence appearing real, you're living in somebody else's evidence that to them they know it is real, their knowledge.
Which another person's, meaning the white man's, who made himself God.
Say that again? You said the white man who makes himself God.
Mm-hmm. He said somebody else's.
Yeah. So that's what it is. So that's the end of that. Yeah, you can. If Picasso still wants to go live, he can come in now. But I'm pretty much done.
Mr. Picasso.
I just can't believe they deleted my comment though. She's hilarious. Dawn is back at it with her funny videos. She said when the CRA try to verify your credit report.
She definitely felt them the same day. She was on a roll. She got props and everything. I don't know. I sent him the request, but I guess he's gone? I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, we can end the live. I got some other business matters to handle. I'll be back if there's any more updates. 1.